Hey everybody, Brian with Showcase Agency here. Thanks for joining me on today's live. If you can hear me okay, if you don't mind, type yes in the comments or okay, something like that. And today what we're talking about is if you're buying a house and you're selling a house and you're doing it at the same time, how can you make that go smoother when you're going from one house to the next? And but before I forget, real quick, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you with that. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time to talk. So, all right, let's get into it. What we're talking about is buying and selling at the same time. A lot of people have to sell one house to buy the next. Maybe they don't qualify for both payments with the mortgage lender, or maybe that's just their preference. They want to sell one and make sure that it sells before they get to the next one. Or sometimes if you're not qualifying for those payments with the lender, you basically have to sell one house to get into the next. You're going to take your proceeds from one and roll it into the next. So that's a real common situation. We deal with that all the time. And a lot of times people are worried, are they going to not be able to close on their next house? In other words, they close their current house, and now where do they live? You know, what are they going to do if they haven't closed on the next house yet? And if you're having to sell one to get the next, how does that work? You know, since it's very rare that they're happening at the same exact time. So that's what we're going to cover today, and going to help you feel more comfortable about the process, understand the process a little bit more. And if you're just joining us, I just want to throw this out there. If you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you with it. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction, and just any way that we could help out. To get scheduled with us, you can go to showcasecall.com and click a few buttons. That's our online scheduler, and get scheduled with us. So let's get into it. There's a couple of things that you should know that are options for you that can make this process easier if you're selling one house to get into the next house. And one of those things is what's called close of escrow plus 3 days. That's kind of the term most realtors refer to it, or brokers refer to it as. And basically what that means is once you close on your current house, you'd have 3 days at no charge to you to remain in the home. And that's something that's on the contract, but it's not a default on the contract. So the contract defaults to close of escrow being whatever the close of, or possession being the same as close of escrow. So if you close on the 20th, then you're supposed to give away possession of the home on the 20th. So you close on the 20th and you get out on the 20th in this example. But one option on the contract is going to be close of escrow plus 3 days. So if your agent, whoever your realtor is, if they check that box and that's negotiated in the contract in the early stages, then you're going to have 3 extra days to hang out in the house, get everything taken care of, get packed up, but possibly more importantly is to actually close on the purchase of your next home. Because we want to make sure that you're able to get into that next home without without being left with no place to stay. So that we've been in this industry for a while. We've heard a lot of bad stories. Fortunately, we've never been in a situation where we've had a client that didn't close and they had to go like live in a hotel or something like that. But we've heard those kind of stories before, and you don't want that to happen to you if you can avoid it. So the close of escrow plus 3 days is one way to do that. That's if you're already in escrow on your other home, and you just need a few days to get everything wrapped up and get moved in. The other thing that can be done is what's called a rent back clause. And that's basically where you sell the house and you rent it back from the person you just sold it to. So you might rent it back for a week or for 2 weeks or a month. A month is usually kind of the max that we see, but I mean, you can negotiate for anything if you needed 60 days or 45 days. Now, the way that works is, let's say that you got into escrow on the sale of your home let's say you got into escrow on the sale of your home and you didn't find your replacement home right away. So now those 2 transactions, which are, basically like 30 days, typically 3 to 4 weeks each, they didn't start at the same time. They didn't even start close. So that's a good situation for a rent back. When the two escrows are not close together at all as far as the closing dates. Okay, so that's something that can be done now in a rent back. You are going to typically pay to rent back the home. So that might be something where it can be done outside of closing, the payment, or maybe it's a credit that you give as the seller to the buyer. There's a lot of different ways that can be worked out. But those are the two things that can help you. One is close of escrow plus 3 days, and just make sure that your agent gets that in the contract up front. We've been on lots of transactions on the listing side and on the buyer side. Sometimes we see it where we represent the buyer and the listing agent actually forgot to ask for close of escrow plus 3 days. When that happens, it's really just at the buyer's discretion if they want to go back and say, yeah, that's fine. But as the seller, you want to make sure that if that's something you need, get that negotiated into the contract in the beginning. That's very important. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. So anyway, that's everything I want to talk about on this one. And again, if you're really serious about buying or selling, give us a call. You can go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled. You might want us to help you with the purchase or sale. You may not, but either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction, get you, on the right path. Okay? All right. Oh, and again, that's showcasecall.com. And if somebody's can just type that in the comments, that'd be cool. That way you got a direct link. All right. Hey, thanks so much. Have an awesome day. Talk to you next time. See you then.